Well, jazz can seem to some people a little intimidating form of music, and that's why the young professionals of Waco are hosting a seminar next week to help. Joining me now are jazz musicians Chuck Jennings and Dave Wild, and I'm just so glad to have you guys here with us. You were here Monday with your brother Ken, and it was, of course, I like jazz music. I love to listen to jazz, but I get that some people how do you listen to jazz music, because it's so different?
I tell people the entryway for me is the rhythm. If you get into the feeling of the rhythm, if it's being done well, it swings, or it's got propulsion. And jazz soloists have like a forward momentum to them. The solo goes somewhere. You've got a sense of discovery in there. So that's what you kind of listen to.
Chuck, you've been playing jazz music. You played in New York. And first of all, how did you get into this particular genre? Because I know you play country. You probably play everything.
Well, actually, I dropped out of college, and I was living with a guy who was taking classical guitar lessons. He had the lesson before me, and we kind of met at school. And I dropped out of school. I needed a roommate. I moved in with him. And he played a John Coltrane record for me, and that was it.
Really?
Yeah. It was a life-changing moment.
Yes.
What is it, folks, when they come to this Jazz 101, which will be next Wednesday night at Cultivate 712? This is where you do a regular monthly jazz jam.
Right.
It's always the last Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock. This is going to be a little bit different, because it'll be more of a panel discussion.
Right, we're going to have a panel discussion. We're going to have a friend of ours as our MC.
I'm looking forward to
Yes.
it, because there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
In how to listen to what you guys do and how you communicate with one another musically, but also somehow you have to be able to tell you what's coming up, because it's not written down. This is not like a classical piece of music that's written down.
When we were here a couple of weeks ago with Beth Ullman, who's a great singer, and she said one of the things she likes about jazz is, you're freed from the tyranny of the page. You're not required to play the notes that are on the page anymore. So that's part of the fun of it for us, is you get to make up your own, you become your own composer. You become the person who decides what's going to happen next. And in a situation like that, and like we had on Monday, if you've got really good players with you, they'll follow you wherever you go.
Well, in fact, there's some of Beth the other night singing, and of course, I learned a lot watching her the other night as a singer, how she communicated. But your trumpet player, this little piece right here, you would take turns.
Right.
So how do you know, Chuck? How do you know who plays what when?
Well, there's as Dave told me earlier, the word is protocol. We have sort of a, I think there's a discipline, there's an etiquette, there's a protocol, and it's very much like a language that you learn to speak. So you learn the process, and it's just, jazz musicians all over the world know this. They have the same sort of background. So we can sort of go on the gig with people like we've never met before, and we know how to function.
Well, it is amazing. It's truly fun to watch. And when we come back, you two will perform.
Yes.
There is no greater love. That's the name of the tune. All right, stay with us. We'll have a check of weather, too.